Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Chilliwack, British Columbia for another episode of the Canadian Cattle Farmer. We have skipped forward about a month. We started out earlier in May, went out into June, and you would have seen from that intro that we have made quite a substantial amount of money off milk, $149,317 to be precise, from those 4 different milk deliveries that we made. We've kept the animals fed and just really maintained the farm for a couple of months while there wasn't much going on except for our crops growing. And the first crop to get to full height and full maturity here is the grass. And I'm just going to walk out in here because I reckon it's not far off waist high. That is some tall grass. And we've got a lot of it in there. Potential harvest quantity, 384,000 litres in the one field and 259 in the other. So we've got, what's that, close to over 700,000? About 650,000 litres? About that. Of grass to get out of here, so that is going to keep us very busy. Now the plan is to get this mowed and windrowed and ready to get picked up. I don't know if we'll go any further than that, but we'll see. We need to go and pick up the grass pickup header from over at the farm. That is where that is, so we'll need to take the class forage harvester over there and get that picked up and brought back here. We've also got the other truck, the other Max Semi, which is over there, and also both our silage trailers, if I remember correctly, are over there as well. So we're going to have to take the other semi over and pick those up. We're not going to use the smaller forage wagons. We're going to go for the big trucks and put some silage into these bunkers. We've also got the wheel loader over here as well, which we're going to try and use for some levelling and compaction, and end up with some decent amount of silage in there. I was considering bagging it and buying a bagger, but we're not going to worry about that just now. We might save that for possibly, well, it won't be the maize silage, but possibly for something else. We'll see how we go. But for now, we've got these bunkers. We might as well make some use of them. So that is pretty much our plan. Just on another note, our silage bales have fully fermented, so we do have our own silage here. So we've got a little bit in stock. And the other thing as well, I am going to retweak the Maize Plus for the animals. I think I've made it a little bit too easy. The feed requirements over the last month or two hasn't been as high as it had been. And it's probably been a little bit less than I probably think is fair for the amount of milk we're producing. So I do want to bump that up just a little bit more. I don't mind doing a truckload a day down into each animal pen, but it was a little bit more than that previously. So we'll tweak that and get back to supplying some more feed to those animals. But anyhow, first things first, let's go and grab the swather. It's going to take a while. This field is quite large, so we're going to go get that set up and we will jump into some mowing. And I might, while we're doing that, I might set up a courseplay course with the windrower once we've got going for a little bit, got through some of the field, and actually start windrowing behind us, because we can use that course for windrowing for our forage harvest if we choose to use courseplay. It might be an option. We might jump in between courseplay for the forage harvester and maybe running auto drive for the 2 trucks and just see how we can get on with that. Anyhow, let's jump into the swather here. We will get this all fired up and go and head off into the field and start getting some grass mown. Alright, we've got the swather over here. We'll get this turned on. I did bring the John Deere with the windrower over as well. The idea behind that is we could get some of this field opened up, get some of the grass mowed, and then once we've done that we can set courseplay going, because I've actually already pre-created a courseplay course for that, so when it's ready, once we've got through enough of this, we can just jump straight in and get that up and going. But I'm going to turn my GPS on here. In fact, I'm not going to, because I have my keybind issue again. Alright, there we go. So that's a little bit frustrating. This app that I have, which is the voice AI I used for my recent UMRV episode, has a shortcut in it which you can't actually delete. You can delete it and it disappears, but then you reboot your computer and it comes back. Anyhow, that is another story. So we're set up now. That is our GPS up and moving. Great to be able to mow through this quite fast, because I think that will offset the time it's going to take to do the field, because it is, like I said, it's quite a large field. It's going to take a wee while, but at least we mow at a decent speed. So we've got this all set up and going. I don't think we need to do anything else at this stage. We're just going to crack into this, get a few passes done, get around the field a few times, get some up and down rows started, and then we can get the windrower up and going as well. Now the windrower course that I've pre-created is set up to run in the middle of the field first and come back and do the headlands a little bit later, which won't be a problem, because we'll just have to make sure we get enough of the field done, and then we'll be all good to go. So let's crack into it. We'll jump into a little bit of a time lapse here. It could be quite a bit of a time lapse actually. When I look back across that field, it is quite significant. So we'll see how we go, but we're going to just carry on and get this mowing done. So we'll catch up with you for an update very soon. reckon we're about halfway across the field. It's taken quite a while to get to where we are, but it's going pretty well. It's nice and fast, a little bit hard and to align on the ends, just quite nimble and quite a responsive little piece of kit, which is good. It's nice being able to turn around right on the ends like we do, but we did miss a few little bits and pieces here and there, but we'll go around and pick those up. In fact, what we're going to do, we're going to go over and start the windrower up now, so we'll just head across the end here and cut these couple of little bits, but hopefully we've got enough mowing that as the windrower goes through we'll be able to carry on mowing and not get too far or not get caught up to. That's the biggest concern, is that the windrower is going to catch up to us, but I think we should be good there. Now when I set the course up, it is going to start down the other end, but it is starting on the up and down rows, just to remind you that. We'll do the headlands last, so we'll get this just parked here for a second. In fact, we'll go behind the windrower just to make sure we don't get in the way. We'll get things cranked up, get our course plate turned on, and we want to go to our first waypoint. We'll press play and see that it's going to get down there. Unfortunately, it does show up that it's working as a leveler. I'm assuming that's because it's got the bucket on the front, but it did do a 9 meter wide course with course play for what we're doing, so we'll go down and make sure that it goes and starts where it's meant to and does what it's meant to. Alright, moment of truth. It looks promising. The windrow is unfolding again, and we're getting turned around. Remember, I had 3 headlands set up on this, so there we go. We are getting it back up and windrowing, and should head down in pretty much parallel line with the mower. And there we go. Right, that's going to work out pretty well. Get some of these rows merged into one. I'm not sure how good a job it's going to do, whether we're going to end up with that many less rows, but it's all doing exactly what it's meant to do. So we're going to leave them going. They're actually going at about the same pace as us, which actually worries me that they're going to cover the ground a lot quicker than I thought. So we'll jump back into the swather when we get down the end here and go and carry on mowing. Alright, back up and running. Now I was thinking about it, if we're 4.5 meters wide, then we should be okay to be ahead, because we're covering half the width, but we're doing it at the same speed and we've already done half the field. So it should work out that we'll be finished roughly the same time, bearing in mind they haven't done headlands yet, so it won't be far off being pretty close to finished at the same time. So we're just going to carry on here, we'll let everything do its thing and we'll get this field finished. So we've finally made it to the end of the field. That has taken over an hour actual in real time, so it's been a bit of an effort. The windrow, you can see down there, they've just made it past the corner of the bins, so just heading into this part of the field and getting this done. So we've managed to keep a decent distance in front of them, which is good. I was worried as they were working across that we were going to get a little bit close, but that hasn't happened. Just cut this little bit of grass here. However, there has been another development. While I've been doing this, I've been thinking, right, we'll go over, grab the trucks, get the forage header and everything like that for the forage harvest, the grass pickup, and get into that. But I was just looking, and we'll just pause here. I was looking at time-saving stock check. Now I've been basing our soybeans here, $1,422 max price in July. I've just gone higher, $1,423. So we're actually at our peak according to time-saving stock check. So I think what we're going to do, we are going to go and get the truck set up with the trailers on, and we're going to take all of our soybeans down to the train station. The best sell point is still Alberta, so we're going to have to put them on the train and send them down there and get that done. But first, we'll give this a wash off before we put it away in the shed. Alright, we've got our truck over here. We're just getting it underneath the bins, getting it loaded up, but we're also creating an auto drive course here. We didn't have one to get in underneath over the dump point or underneath the refill auger there. So we'll do this and we'll be able to hopefully get the truck full and then run it on down to the train station and get the soybeans dumped out, and then we can just set this up on a rotation to get everything all moved from here down to the trains. So there we are, we've got our course started. Now there is already one for the trains, so we're just going to go to here. We want yard silo as our fill point. We're going to go dump this at the trains. If we can just find that railroad silo north, and we want to go in, and we have soybeans. So if we do all of that, click on the right one there. There it is. We're just going to turn that off and press play. Hopefully we'll be able to ride with this down to the trains and see how it goes. There is the windrow still doing its thing, which is good. What I'm not quite sure of is whether we have a course that will turn left on the way out of our drive, or whether it's going to do a big loop. We're also going to get very close to that bin fan. In fact, I might have just clipped it, so we might have to just tweak that auto drive course just a touch. There we are. We'll just follow the truck on its way out, make sure it can get out onto the road and head on down to the dump point. Well, we're turning left, which is a good thing. We just had a little bit of an accident with a car going past. It clipped us as we were about to pull out. There we are. That does mean, I hope, that we're going to head on down this way and head to the railway yards. It's not too far actually over there. You can see the top of the building just on the other side. And look at that windrow. That is a race through the fields. Should tidy things up as it goes around the headlands, and then we'll be able to get back and start picking that up with the forage harvester. Alright, well we've made it down here and the truck is heading in to the unload point, which is perfect. Now, we just have to make sure that it's going to start dumping. It's getting a little bit caught and struggling just on coming up in here. Is that something to do with the geometry of the area? That is not looking too good. It's not the trailer caught on anything. The truck is still pulling. There we go. It got up and over. It was not ideal. But there we go. And we are unloading soybeans. So that has worked, but not quite the way I thought it would. That's okay. As long as it gets in there and gets everything unloaded, I'm not going to complain. And there we are, all 4 hoppers empty and moving back, heading back towards the yard. So hopefully they're going to go and start another lap and they'll be back here soon. There you go. You can see the wheels really lifting off the ground quite a bit there, as it was dealing with the transition in and out of the unload point. So we'll leave them here to do this. We're going to head back over to the yard. We're going to go and sort out this forage harvester, get the grass pickup header on it, and go and bring the silage trailers back over. Just checking in on the windrow. Started on the headland passes, so that's good. It is tidying up most of them. Must have had the width just a little bit off. There's some rows there where it hasn't quite got exactly the right amount, but that's fine. We'll be able to come through and tidy that up a little bit later with the forage harvester. Once we're all done, we'll be able to drive in and sort that all out. But by and large, it's working. It's doing a reasonable job here for us, and we'll be able to get in and start loading up grass and getting some silage made, which will be great. This is going to be a big improvement on the situation we've had for our silage. So we've grabbed the gooseneck trailer, put it onto the back of the pickup, and we are going to head on over to the other farm and go and grab that pickup header, and we'll get the other truck while it's over there, use a worker to bring that back on auto drive. But we're just waiting here right now because the truck is coming in, ready to come and get some more soybeans and run those down to the train depot. I'll be intrigued to see if that price will go any higher. 14.23 I think it was at the moment, but that has not worked very well. That course has not negotiated in there at all, and looks like we're stuck on the fence. I wonder if it got a shunt from the vehicle behind, or whether that's just the way it is. Looks like it might just be the way it is. Not to worry, we will fix that and get them going again. Alright, there we go. Things are back underway with the truck. So they look like they've opened the covers and going to head on in there and get things loaded up again, which is great. I'm looking forward to the income from this. I think we've got about $450,000 worth of soybeans that will be sold soon. So that is going to be a huge boost to paying off some of our debt and being able to further develop the farm. Well, we've made it over here to the other yard and just sent the truck off there. It's got one of the silage trailers on. Of course, we've still got the silage boss trailer here that we need to come down and pick up. But of course, the other truck is currently busy hauling soybeans, so we'll have to come back and get that a little bit later. But we've also got the trailer over here, and we've got the grass pickup header for the forage harvester. That's all loaded up, strapped down, and we're going to head back on over to the farm and go and get this offloaded. Everything else is just moving. I think the windrow is just about finished. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if it's finished by the time we get back. And otherwise, the other truck's just hauling soybeans still. So we have got things moving. But I'm looking forward to getting into that grass field with the forage harvester and making a start on that and getting things set up and going. Alright, well we're back here with the pickup header. It looks like, and actually I know, because we got the notification as we were driving along, the windrow has finished. Sitting over there in the corner, silage truck is back here as well. So that is a good timing. It means we can get started here pretty much straight away in the silage and figure out how we're going to do that. Now I've got a few ideas and we're just going to have a little bit of a chat about how I'm planning to tackle this. We're not going to get it all done in this episode. And in fact, I think we're probably just going to get set up with the forage harvester and trying to set some of the other things up in the next one, but I do want to make sure things are going to work out for us. So we're just going to park that there, get it turned off. We will come and unstrap this. I'm hoping we can get up with high enough with the forage harvester to unload that, otherwise we might have to get in there with the forks on one of the tractors. So we'll get the windrow out of the way. Now we're going to put the grass into this first bunker here. We've got the trailers in the other one there, so we'll just use this one here for now. What I'm planning on doing is using the courseplay course we had for the windrow, set the forage harvester up on that, and then set the trucks up on auto drive and use the courseplay for the wheel loader to compact the silage. So hopefully everything will run pretty much automatically. But I'm not going to set all that up quite today. We're just going to set up the forage harvester, we'll drive the truck for a load and just make sure everything is working, and then we'll concentrate on getting all of that automation and everything set up next time. So we'll just get this moved out of the way and go and park it. Now, just while we're doing this, talking about the storage sheds there by GTX, I'm playing this. I recorded half this episode before patch 1.9 and the other half afterwards. I do have the updated version of the storage shed, so if you're using those, make sure you grab the patch from GTX, the update, and get that installed before you open your game and resave it, otherwise you'll lose the contents of the shed. So that was nice. It was pretty impressive how quickly that update was pushed through both by GTX and by the Giants QA team, so pretty impressive to see. Now the other thing I was going to point out earlier, which I completely overlooked when we were talking about other things with bales and whatnot, I can't use our alfalfa hay. So we'll just come around here and have a quick look. When I go and stand next to one of these bales, it's coming up as our alfalfa hay windrow. Now I'm just going to go down here to our forage mixer. If I come and stand next to this and press Y, it's not hooked up to anything. When it's hooked up to something, you'll see that when we're trying to make a mix, it will only use alfalfa hay, not alfalfa hay windrow. So the way that that alfalfa is being identified by the forage mixer isn't compatible. So what I'm going to do, and I've had a quick look at the maths, and we'll just take a quick look. These bales are 4,500 litres each. Now down the bottom here you can see our alfalfa hay windrow, $49 per 1,000 litres, so 4.5 times that works out about $225. Now in the shop we can come in and buy a bale, $216, so pretty much exactly the same price. This is our alfalfa hay, and I have bought one to test it, and there it shows you 4,500 litres. So we're pretty much replacing like for like. So we're going to go through, sell those, and we'll come in and buy the equivalent amount here out of the shop, and we'll be no better or worse off. But that's just a little thing to be mindful of. It seems to be, when you're looking in here, we've got alfalfa hay windrow, alfalfa windrow, but if we scroll up a little bit further, we've got alfalfa hay and alfalfa silage up here. So there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect with what's happened there. It may be I needed to ted it more to get it made into hay. I might have to have a little bit more of a look into the dealings of Maize Plus, but that was just something else I was going to point out while we were at it here. So let's go and grab the forage harvester, and we'll go and get things set up and moving in here. So there we are, we've got the pickup on the front here of the forage harvester now, so that is all good to go. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to set it up here on one of the outside rows. We'll just set it to go from nearest waypoint, try and get these headlands all knocked off. In fact, if we come in here, if we start over here at one of these inside ones, it should be about where we started, and you can see where the windrow there has changed direction. So I think if we turn around right about here and tell it to get started at this point on nearest windrow, we should be pretty good to go. So we get this all unfolded, turned on. Now I've already set up the course, so we're just going to go for nearest waypoint. I'll just turn that on. You can see our course there. So we are hopefully probably going to try and go off that one. Hopefully from about here. Now I'm just looking at that. Hopefully it looks like we might almost have a little bit of an offset with that windrow. So hopefully we're going to get this picked up. We might have to play around with the tool offset just a little bit for this to get it to align properly, because the windrow I think is a little bit uneven. So we'll just have to figure out if that's going to be a problem. But we'll turn that off. I'm going to press start on nearest waypoint, because it won't go too far without having a truck to throw the forage into. But that's looking pretty good. I'm just trying to figure out if we offset it, which way we would do that. We'll try that one, I think, in a positive offset. But let's go and grab the truck and we'll see what happens when we pull up next to it. So, moment of truth, let's see what happens when we get up here beside the forage harvester. Well, it's detected the trailer, which is positive, and it is off and running. Now I'm not quite sure how that offset's looking. A little bit off. I think we might jump over and see about changing it back the other way, see if that will fix it. I can already see the improvement. So we've gone half a metre the other way, and that is looking much more aligned. So that is looking impressive. I'm happy with that. We're just going to run here along beside. Oh, we got too close. It's lost its connection to the trailer. Okay, we'll sit in behind it a little bit. Seems to be happier when we're positioned right about there. So let's just cruise along here. We will set our cruise control up to match that, and then we should be able to just get around this field and see how much forage we can get up out of this field in just a short amount of time. Well, there we are. That is a full load, 65,000 litres, and we haven't even made it the whole way around the field. So that bodes well for getting a decent chunk of silage here off this field. What do you? I think we estimated 600,000 or 700,000 when we were starting out, when we looked at what the capacity of the field was. I must admit, I was looking at the size of the windrows and thinking, gosh, I don't know if we're going to make it to that. But this certainly does fill me with confidence that we might be able to achieve that. Now, I haven't put any additive into the silage harvester, the forage harvester, but we do have some. So maybe I should consider doing that and even boosting our yield by another few percent using that, which could come in handy. But that's going to go really well, particularly when we go and get the other trailer once the other truck's finished running around doing the soybeans. But for now, one trailer and 65,000 litres at a time is looking pretty impressive. So we're just going to pull in here through the bunker. Now I'm going to have to think about whether when we set up an auto drive course for this, whether we drive through or whether we back in. I'm thinking backing in might be a little bit better, because driving across might get stuck on these piles, because I think you can already see it there, that's going to be a pretty big stack of silage that we're going to end up in here. Going to fill up pretty quick too, just looking at that. So we might be better off backing in and letting the wheel loader do its thing with getting it pushed in and compacted, everything like that. Otherwise the trucks are going to get stuck very, very quickly. But there we go, 65,000 litres put in there. That's a pretty impressive amount of silage already. Look at that. Pretty happy with that. That's going to go and give us a good amount of animal feed. Well, I think that is a pretty decent start on our first foray into grass silage here on Chilliwack for the Canadian cattle farmer. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how much silage we make off this field. It's looking like it could be quite a decent size and decent chunk that we're going to end up with, which gives us potential to increase our cattle herd. Of course, we do have breeding coming up soon. We've got some animals that are very close to reproducing, and obviously in the long run, well, hopefully the not too much longer run, we do want to get the feedlot all set up and built here on the back of this field. So lots and lots still to do here. But I'm going to wrap things up for this episode at the start of the silage harvest, which bodes well for having a great harvest to look forward to for the next episode. So, hope you've enjoyed that episode. As always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.